and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful sunny Budapest. I hope everybody is having a good week so far. In this class, we are looking at a task 2 writing for the academic or general version of the IELTS exam. In this lesson, the chat is for members. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch. In about 90 minutes, I will host an all-chat class where everybody can chat, and that will focus on the listening section. Hi, Pavan. Hi, Vimal. Hi, Bhumi. Nice to see some of our members joining in. While we wait for some of your peers, this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com for help with the academic version of the test. Please visit us there. And for the general version, it's IELTS help.com. That's General IELTS help.com. On both of those websites, we have loads and loads of materials to help you prepare for your next test. This is the academic website here with the blue background. Click that big red button to join the premium package. Get access to our over 100 hours of video lessons, fully interactive course, and original practice exams. This is the general version of the website here at gieltshelp.com with the green background. Click that big red button to join us there. Hi, Dr. Krishna. Nice to see a new member in the class today. Students, if you have questions regarding the exam or our products, just send me an email to Adrian, A-D-R-I-A-N, at aehelp.com, and I will do my best to answer you in a timely fashion. Okay, so let's get into today's lesson, task 2. Step number 1, of course, is to read the question carefully. So you get to the writing section, start with task 1, finish it in 20 minutes, and then move on to task 2. Here we go, students. Read this together with me, nice and loud. Focus on the key words. Start to visualize your answer. Think deeply. IELTS Task 2 writing. Some people feel that the economic consequences of social distancing poses a greater threat to humanity than the virus it is meant to control. What do you believe and why? Give explanations and examples to support your opinion. Quite a hot topic, I think, right now. So we've read the question, and of course, our next step is to immediately paraphrase the question. So write the question in your own words, just to make sure that you understand it absolutely 100%. Start to generate some ideas around the question and some vocabulary. So do that now. Hi, Connie. Hi, Ferdovs. Hi, everybody who's joining in. All right, so paraphrase this question. Just let's be sure that we are all discussing the same idea here. I'm going to do the same. I'll paraphrase, and then we'll compare the paraphrasings just to be sure that we're on the same page. So, certain individuals, okay? Instead of some people, certain individuals feel that the economic consequences. All right. Believe that the financial repercussions. Repercussions is another way to write consequences, if I can figure out the spelling of it here. Repercussions should give it to me, even the spell check doesn't know it. Maybe like that. No. All right. Well, we'll play with that. By the way, students, if you're not sure of a word's spelling for your writing, when you're writing it, it's best to avoid it. So Instead of repercussions, I'm going to try another one, ramifications. Okay, so consequences, ramifications, same idea. Certain individuals believe that the financial ramifications of isolating oneself from others. This is what we're dealing with today, the social distancing. Thanks, Vimal. Everybody's got a little bit of a different way to spell it. So Vimal says it's repercussion, reprecution. Let's try that, just so we all learn the word. Another couple of words for consequences. It's a good one to paraphrase. Yeah, my spell check doesn't like that one either. Likes this version here. Okay, so we'll get it eventually. So certain individuals believe that the financial ramifications of isolating oneself from others in society creates a bigger danger to people than the pandemic. Pandemic, of course, is the global spread of the virus, spelled with an A, pandemic, that it is meant to contain. What is your position and why? Give explanations and examples for your argument. All right. So there's my paraphrase. Anybody else come up with paraphrases yet? Here's the original one more time. Some people feel that the economic consequences of social distancing poses a greater threat to humanity than the virus it is meant to control. What do you believe and why? So I paraphrase this. It took me a little bit, but that's okay. It's very important. Certain individuals believe that the financial ramifications or repercussions of isolating oneself from others in society creates a bigger danger to people than the pandemic that it is meant to contain. What is your position and why? Give explanations and examples for your argument. All right, and I see that there are some paraphrases coming up now. That's great. Elena says certain individuals ascertain that the social isolation may have enormous economic consequences on human beings, more so than the microbes it is aimed to control. Dominate is a bit awkward, Elena. Faith is religious definition, Elena, so we wouldn't use what is your faith. Faith and belief in this context do not paraphrase well, Elena. So that's for all students. Faith is used in religious context. So your faith as a Muslim, your faith as a Christian, or as a Buddhist, that's your faith. It's much more religious, okay, Elena? So what is your belief on this and why? All right. Awaz says certain individuals think that the economic outcomes of public distancing pretends are more prominent menace than the virus it is intended to control. Awaz, I like your use of the word menace. That's nice. The distancing pretends, it's not bad, but a little bit awkward. All right. Rajveer Singh says certain individuals ascertain that the monetary repercussions of maintaining a social distance are more dangerous for humans than its positives to control the pandemic caused by the virus. Okay, Rajveer, good. Don't forget, students, here we're talking about the dangers of this social distancing. Charlie Sen, some individuals believe that the world will face a tremendous economic crisis whose effect will be bigger danger than the COVID-19 pandemic itself. What is your opinion? Give an example. All right, good. Boomy says, a few individuals think that social isolation causes more danger to mankind due to a recession in the economy than controlling a virus. What is your opinion? All right. Okay. So far we're doing good. Students, what is the topic here? What are we talking about? Let's see if we're all on the same page. So, of course, our next step here is to identify the topic. What is the topic here? Rahul Preet, welcome aboard. You've been a member before. I'm guessing you're joining back in. Charlie Sen says we're talking about the economic crisis. I don't think so, Charlie. I don't think so. What are we talking about here? I don't think it's the economic crisis that we're talking about. That's part of it, but I think, Charlie, that's part of the controlling idea rather than the topic. Elena says the topic is social distancing. Okay. All right. I agree, Elena. We're talking about social distancing here. Yeah. Very good. Okay. So social distancing is what we're really talking about, and maybe including the effects of, right? So talking about the effects of social distancing, and what are the controlling ideas? Yeah, Rahul Preet, very good. So Rahul Preet says it's social distancing. Charlie, good. So now, Charlie, you're saying social distancing, which is better, that causes economic crisis. The controlling idea, that's right, Roshni, is the ramifications. Okay, so controlling ideas are the ramifications or consequences yeah, there we go. So consequences in economic versus health, right? So, or versus virus, to be more specific. So we're talking about social distancing, and the controlling idea is the consequences of social distancing in the concept of economic versus the virus. Now, keep in mind that the question is, what is your position and why? So it's quite an interesting topic. All right, so let's talk about the what, why, hows. So what is social distancing? Give me some answers for that one, students. And Preeti, you've identified half of the controlling idea. So it's economic consequences versus consequences of the pandemic, right? Rajveer, is it positive or is it negative is not quite the right controlling idea because it's more specific to the economic and the viral consequences of the situation. So not just the overall positive, negative. You have to focus here on the virus or the economy in relation to social distancing. Okay. So Bhumi says avoiding face-to-face conversation. Rahul Preet says avoiding gatherings and meetings. Okay. Roshni says maintaining a certain distance between people, like 1 meter. Elena says maintaining at least 1.5 meters before talking to each other and quarantining ourselves. Okay. See, it's interesting because a lot of people don't have the same idea. Even though we're all going through this, we still have different ideas of what social distancing actually means, I think. So Puneet says avoiding crowded places, keeping away from people. Rajveer says maintaining a distance of about 2 meters. Okay, so what I believe social distancing is, from what I'm hearing in Hungary, is keeping a distance of at least 1 meter from others and restricting movement in public places to necessity, food and work, right? So this is what I'm understanding the definition of social distancing is in public right now. So keeping a distance of 1 meter from others in combination with not going to public places, whether that's a crowded place or a park, unless it's necessary. So basically just going out for food and to work. So no social gatherings. That's what I feel is the definition. So why? So why is social distancing encouraged or mandated? Okay, so what are the reasons for it? Give me a nice answer for that one. Okay, why are we doing this? Again, visualize it and define it as best you can. What's the purpose behind it? So Connie says to keep people from contacting each other in case of catching the virus. So to avoid spreading the virus, right? Puneet Raila says to avoid getting infected and spreading the virus. Yeah. So to prevent infection and the spread of the virus. Yes, I think there's one more element here. So Rajveer says it's required to control the spread of certain pandemics like the COVID-19. Yeah. To avoid contagion, that's another good word. To minimize contagion. Yeah, contagion meaning the spread of the virus. Yeah, and not only to avoid it, but also to slow it down, right? To slow the spread of contagion. Okay. Now, think a little bit more here, right? So we have to be a little bit more critical and maybe take another step and say why. Why do we want to do this? Okay. Dr. Krishna, please write lowercase like everybody else, not all uppercase. It's we only use all uppercase, Dr. Krishna, if you're yelling at somebody in writing. So when you write all uppercase, students, in the comments, it kind of means like you're yelling at me. Okay? So Dr. Krishna, all lowercase letters, please. So Dr. Krishna says to prevent infections in case of the contagious virus. Okay. All right. To slow the spread of contagion, to keep people from becoming very ill and dying. Think here. So think critically, students. This is where I'm always pushing you to be really critical thinkers, to come up with great answers and to get those higher band scores on your essays. All right. We don't really use or implement social distancing with the common flu. So we've had virus and bacteria in the past as well, but we have never exercised social distancing to this degree. Why? Because we weren't scared of severe illness or death, right? So one other element of this social distancing is the fear of dying, right? Otherwise, we're not that scared of each other. So think critically. Why? So here's an example of some good critical thinking. Why do we not exercise social distancing every flu season? Because we are not scared of the danger of death, right? So that's the big difference with this pandemic as the end result is fatal. Okay, it can lead to death. Okay, so how do we socially distance? Well, we already said stay 1 meter away from others, and only go out only go out to buy food or do work. Okay. Now here again, you want to think about some other ideas that can help you in the essay. So how do we socially distance? Okay, we've said this. So stay 1 meter away from others, only go out to buy food or do work. Give me some other ideas that come into your mind when you think of the question, how do we distance each other socially? So Puneet says stay at home, only go out if necessary. What else do we do? Okay, or to buy medicine. Yeah, buy food. Medicine. Sure. Connie, very good. So Connie says work from the home. Make greater use of the internet, right? So work remotely from home. Make use of the internet more. Yeah. For shopping and so on as well, right? Okay. Utilize online shopping and delivery services. Okay, good. All right. So now we need to think of the what, why, how for the controlling ideas. Okay, there's some great ideas. Nicely done, Mahesh and Bhumi. Now we need to think of the controlling ideas. So what are the economic ramifications of social distancing? So what does it mean? I should ask it like this. It's a better question. What is the economic ramification of social distancing? So what is that? And we're all kind of struggling and fighting to put these ideas together in our heads, all the way from the highest political and social levels to individuals who are thinking about this. So Ferdov says many people have lost their jobs. Okay, so an extreme increase in unemployment, right, Ferdovs? So economic ramifications, an extreme increase in unemployment, decrease in, let's see, somebody said it, decrease in salaries, wages, and I see, yeah, Roshni says, so income is restricted. Let's see, some other really good answers coming up there. So, decrease in cash flow, yeah. Cash flow, absolutely. So extreme increase in unemployment, decrease in wages, decrease in cash flow. Okay, I'm seeing some other good answers there. Connie Wang says factories and companies shut down. Societies are running functionally. Yeah. So closing of businesses. Stop of exports and imports. Yeah. Sure. And why are these happening? So why are these happening? Why are these economic consequences happening? All right. So why is this happening? Why are we experiencing these economic consequences as a result of social distancing? Okay, why can't we just keep going? So Ferdov says because of social distancing. Okay, Ferdov, that's an okay answer to say because of social distancing, but that's just a circular answer, right? So students, you always want to be careful to get out of circular reasoning ideas. So here you have economic crisis, right? Why? Because of social distancing. And social distancing leads to economic crisis. So we're just going around and around and around. But why is that? So why does that happen? Why can't we just all turn towards the internet and use the internet and do everything from home? What's the issue? What's the problem? What is the really important idea that we need to get to here? Okay, so Charlie says because the stable system is broken. Yeah, but what makes our system stable? So Hemant says sales have dropped, unorganized market crashes, cash flow is disrupted. So Preeti says because there's no production without people. Preeti, you're very, very close, right? That's how we break this circular reasoning, as we realize because production depends on human interaction and movement. Yeah, so many people these days are telling me, and you'll like this, students. Many people are telling me these days, "Hey, Adrian, you have a great business because your business is online. Your teaching can continue. You can still keep making money." And I say that's kind of funny because most businesses, including a business like mine that offers online IELTS learning, depends on people moving around. Students need to go to IELTS exam centers to do the IELTS exam. If they can't do that, they don't want to study for the IELTS. Why do people study for the IELTS? Because they want to go to another country to live or to study. If they can't do that, they don't necessarily want to learn IELTS, so they're not going to watch IELTS or use online software on the internet. So the internet business is still highly dependent on human movement and interaction. Okay? We still can't eat virtual food. And so we need to go and plant tomatoes and carrots in the fields. And we need to harvest those. So human society, although we have this great virtual world around us, the internet, it's still highly, highly, highly dependent on human interaction and production. Okay? So why are these economic consequences happening? Because the economy is highly connected and dependent on social interaction and human production, right? How is the economy dependent on this? Okay. Well, we interact with each other and the world around us to create our needs and progress and develop. Okay, I'm not going to get into the specific examples. I'm sure you can think about thousands and thousands of them, right? Okay, so It's a nice idea to stay at home and work from home, but many jobs cannot be done from home. I don't think a farmer can plant his crops at home by himself. It's just theoretically or in practice impossible. Okay. All right. So then let's go to the next one. So, what is the consequence of staying at home for the virus? Okay. Well, we already said to not spread the disease. Now here, let's think critically, right? And let's take it one step further. What is the consequence of not staying at home for the virus? So what is the worst that can happen? Okay, so in your opinion, what's the worst that can happen if we don't stay at home, if we say, hey, let's forget about this, let's just deal with the virus and getting sick? Some countries, I think it's maybe Sweden, that has taken this approach. So what's the consequence of that? Okay, what will happen? What's the worst case scenario? Yeah, so fatalities increase, and hospital patients become unmanageable, right? I think that's one of the biggest fears, is that there'll be so many people in hospitals that there simply won't be enough supplies and people to help all of those ill people. So no space in hospitals. Yeah, fatalities increase. Patients become unmanageable. All right, let's ask another question. What is the worst case scenario for the economic consequences? So what do you think will be the worst case situation for the economic consequences of social distancing? Okay, so we've figured this one out. The worst case scenario for letting the virus spread is there'll be a lot of ill people. There won't be space in the hospitals. There'll be a lot of people that will most likely die from the virus. I think it's about 2 or 3% of the population. Okay, so Puneet Raila says high inflation, global economic shutdown, economic collapse. Roshni says starvation and illegal activity will increase. So okay, recession. I think recession is a bit ambitious, Boomy. I would almost say more of a depression. Okay. Awaz says companies will go bankrupt. Okay. And Preeti says maybe the apocalypse. Okay. Conflict, strife, and of course, fatality. Fatality means death. So people obviously die from these situations as well. So there's no easy decision here, right? And I purposefully chose a very provocative topic for today's lesson. Now you've thought about it, so you basically have to make up your choice here, your decision. So it's time to decide and create a thesis. Okay, so economic consequences are worse. Virus consequences are worse. All right. We're at the end of the day, we're left to choose one of these two and give uh, the two reasons for it. Okay. All right. Well, it's a hard one, and I'm not going to push you to decide on one side or the other. So let's see how people feel. I'm very interested about this. So, economic consequences of social distancing are worse because of economic collapse and conflict, or viral consequences are worse because of the shutdown of the hospital systems and the increased mortality or fatality. Choose one. We'll do whatever is the most popular, okay? So if you feel the economic consequences are worse for social distancing, vote for number one. If you think the consequences for the pandemic are worse, if there's no social distancing, then choose number two. And then we'll go into writing the actual thesis. Okay, so Pavan says 2, Bhumi says 2, Rajveer says 2. Elena says, I think it's the economic one. So Elena's the only one so far that says the economic consequences are worse. Yeah. Bhumi says, well, people can make money. Let's not get into the arguments yet. So Awaz says the viral consequences are worse. Okay, Dr. Krishna says number one. All right, so it looks like people are more for the consequences of the virus are worse if there's no social distancing. So in this case, you will disagree with the statement, right? Okay, so it looks like most of you are on the side. So let's go with that side then, okay? So position, disagree that the economic consequences are worse than the impact of the pandemic. Okay, great. So now we can write our thesis statement, students. Thesis. Let's go back and read the original question one more time before we write our thesis. So IELTS Task 2 writing. Some people feel that the economic consequences of social distancing poses a greater threat to humanity than the virus it is meant to control. What do you believe and why? Okay, so that's the question. Most of you said, hey, let's say, okay, I disagree. The economic consequences are not as bad as the virus. So you've said that. Now you need to create your thesis statement. So students, please write a thesis statement from this position so that we can develop our introductory paragraph and our body paragraphs in conclusion. So go ahead, write your thesis statement. All right? So write your thesis statement. I'm going to do the same. I'll be a little bit quiet so that you can hear yourself thinking. All right, so there is my thesis statement. I'll read it in just 1 second. I'm hoping some of our members are also finishing up theirs as well. Here we go. Although many people fear the economic ramifications of social distancing, I believe that these are not as severe as the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic, because the healthcare system and people's lives must not be jeopardized, and the economy can be rebuilt. Okay. Let's see what you come up with. So Roshni says certain individuals believe that the economic ramifications of physical distancing in society generate bigger problems. Although I completely ascertain that the virus is more dangerous because of, and then I'm waiting for those 2 points, Roshni. I see that you ran out of space there. It's okay, but you're on the right track. Elena says, although people are worried about economic consequences, it is more important to flatten the curve, because this high mortality rate leads people into social and civil unrest. So, Elena, instead of writing leads us nowhere, be a little bit clearer. So, where does it lead us? Okay. Boomy says, or Boomy writes, although few individuals ascertain that the economic loss due to social isolation leads to critical situations, I believe that the infectious virus poses more dangers for humanity. Okay. Boomy, careful with your double negative, although with nevertheless. Since you started with although, you don't need nevertheless, because it's a double negative that way and it's confusing. So careful. Charlie says certain individuals agree that social distancing creates more dangers to the economy than the corona pandemic itself. However, including myself, I disagree, because the pandemic results in, and then finish your idea, Charlie, with your 2 points. Okay. So remember, students, when you have to choose one of 2 sides, the structure of your thesis should be choosing one side over the other side, and then giving 2 clear points to argue that side and back it up. Okay. Hemant says, it is argued that the economic repercussions of social distancing are colossal, but I believe that the consequences of the virus is more lethal, since it can wipe out the human race. So I disagree with the economic argument. I would make that more clear, Hemant, that it's the economic argument that you're disagreeing with. Rajveer says, although certain individuals feel that social distancing causes financial problems, I believe that it is necessary to control the virus to save people's lives and to assist the healthcare system. Very nice. So, so far, members, I would give the highest marks for Rajveer's thesis statement. So let me rewrite Rajveer's statement here, and I'm going to show you why I would give the highest mark for Rajveer's statement. So Rajveer writes, although, Rajveer, I'm just going to verbatim write it here, certain individuals feel that social distancing causes financial problems, I believe that it is necessary to control the virus to save people's lives and to assist the healthcare system. Okay. All right. So, Rajveer, in fact, I like your thesis even better than mine. So, notice how my thesis statement, it's one sentence longer than Rajveer's thesis statement. And of course, the idea is always to be as concise as possible. So if you can say it shorter than I can, it already makes it somewhat of a better thesis statement. Another reason I really like Rajveer's thesis statement is because the structure is very clear and the parallel grammar is outstanding. So to save people's lives, to assist the healthcare system. So it's really clear for me that Rajveer is going to write one body paragraph about the importance of social distancing to save the lives of people, and he's going to write another paragraph that's focusing on saving the healthcare system and how those actually tie into our economic structure, right? Because people's lives are valuable. Our economy depends on the lives of people. If people die, then who's your customer? Who's going to buy your goods or your services, right? It's a cold way to say it, but humans are the greatest asset in the economy because they move the economy. So without them, you have economic breakdown anyway. And then to assist the healthcare system, one of the most expensive parts, maybe the most expensive part of the economic system in today's world is the healthcare system. So if we have a breakdown of the healthcare system, then we are back to square one with economic collapse, right? So these are the situations we get into, and these are the struggles that governments are dealing with right now also. So really nice thesis statement by Rajveer. Good job there. Take note of that. That would be your ideal Band 9 thesis statement for this essay. Okay, and I see that there are more. So Dr. Krishna says, others might be in support of the financial crisis, but I believe that this cannot be as hazardous as the COVID-19 pandemic because the economy can be rebuilt, but people's lives are more important. Okay, good. So Dr. Krishna, I see your body paragraph 1 will be about rebuilding the economy, and body paragraph 2 about the importance of people's lives. It's another good thesis statement. So excellent. There's some great thesis statements coming up. Okay. All right. So students, I'm not going to rush the introductory paragraph. I'll leave that, members, for you to do for homework. So take your thesis statements and now create your full introductory paragraph. Okay. The introduction, as many of you know, has a hook plus background plus thesis. Okay, so have your introduction. This is your homework. Have the introductory paragraph ready for tomorrow's class. I'll have mine ready as well. So we can work on the body paragraphs, body and conclusion. Okay. And I'm really looking forward to this interesting and very pertinent topic for today's situation. And I look forward to completing this essay with you and maybe coming up with some clever ideas so that we can all get some more insight. Roshni, you don't need to send me the introduction, just have it ready for tomorrow, and then we'll share our different hooks and backgrounds in tomorrow's class. So we'll share the introduction, and then you can send me your essay later, okay? So in the next few days. But for now, just have the introduction ready for tomorrow so that when I ask for the hook, you can quickly share the hook with me. When I ask for the background, you can quickly share that with me. So just have it ready for tomorrow, okay? You don't need to send it for me, Elena. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you've found this class interesting. I know I did, and it was good for me to get your insights on our situations. And this is what makes us incredible as humans, is that we can look at our difficult situations like this pandemic, like the social isolation, and we can rationalize them, we can think about them deeply, and that gives us a peace of mind, and also it empowers us to come up with much better solutions. This is the right type of attitude and thinking for all challenges in life, not just these extreme ones that we're facing today with the COVID-19, but also our everyday challenges like preparing for the IELTS exam. So good job, students. Give yourself a pat on the back. And hopefully I'll see most of you in the next class, which will be listening part 1 and part 2 practice. Much love to all of our viewers from Budapest. Hopefully see you shortly. Again, join our premium packages at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Bye for now.